All right, guys, sorry we got cut off on the other video. I figured we'd make a second video in case you didn't really need the other one. You can just jump right to the constructions. All right, so you should know by now that I want you to be able to do 3 constructions for me. And hopefully you've got some kind of geometry kit. This one was, I think, $7, so it's a little more expensive. You can get them for just $3 or $4 or $5 maybe. There's not enough for everybody to have one if you don't have one, so try to get one if you can. All right. And really, out of this construction, out of the geometry kit, you really, for the constructions, just need the compass and a straight edge. You can pick any of these straight edges, or actually you could even pick this straight edge if you want to. I'm gonna go with classic ruler here. Put the other stuff away for now. All right, here we go. For a perpendicular bisector, what you'll need to do first is draw yourself a line. I've already made the test and I realized I did not draw any of the lines for you. So just draw a line, doesn't matter how long. Okay. And you want to make a line that goes through it exactly in the middle and exactly at a right angle. So what you do, use your compass and you're going to put the pointy part of your compass on one end and extend the pencil part more than halfway. You can kind of tell when you've gone past the halfway point. And then you're just going to make an arc like so. Try not to move the angle at all. Okay, and then we're going to come to the other side. Don't move the angle at all if you can help it. Put the pointy part on the other end. Make an arc like that. Okay, and when you do that, you will have made 2 arcs that cross at 2 points. And if you then connect those 2 points, you have yourself a perpendicular bisector. Perfectly in the middle and perfectly right angle. If you wanted to get your actual ruler out and measure this distance and then this distance, they should be exactly the same. All right, for the angle bisector, here we go. We are gonna, well, I would start with a point maybe, and then draw an angle from that point. It doesn't matter what the angle is. Okay, and then take your compass, and this time the distance doesn't matter. Okay, last time up here we had to make sure it was more than halfway. This time it doesn't particularly matter what your setting is for the compass. Put the pointy end on the vertex of the angle. Just draw an arc so that it hits both sides of the angle. And then switch your point to where that arc crossed the line and make another arc. And then come over on this side and put it right there where that first arc crosses the side of the angle. Make a second arc. You're almost always trying to make a point where 2 things cross. There we go. There's our point where those 2 things cross. If we connect that point and that point, we will have created an angle bisector. It's perfectly right in the middle. Again, if you wanted to take your protractor and measure this angle and this angle, you would see that they are exactly the same. Okay, that one's not too bad. All right, the equilateral triangle. Again, give yourself a starting point. Make one side of the triangle. You get to decide how big or small the triangle is. Okay, I like to put some points on the end of that. All right, that's the side of my triangle. I just need to make it so that the other 2 sides are the same. And I can kind of visualize, okay, it's going to look about like that. But how do I do it precisely and perfectly? With my compass. So this time I'm going to set my pointy end on one side and I'm going to put the pencil end and move this back and forth until it's just exactly right on that point. And I'm going to come out here, I'm going to make an arc. And then I'm going to come over here on the other side. I'm going to make another arc. Guess what? Those two arcs crossed at a point. Imagine that. And then if I connect that and that, I will have my perfect equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle has sides that are exactly the same length and angles that are exactly the same measure also. All right. There you go. I will not be there for the test tomorrow, but I think you guys are going to do great. Feel free to email me. I will probably check my email one more time before I go to bed tonight, and I can answer some questions if you got them. All right, guys. See you on Wednesday next week, I guess, because you don't have school Monday. All right. Have a fun weekend, a nice long weekend. We'll see you soon.